LDBC, this is your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. You're live on the Coach Sheldon Harrison Boxing and MMA Show Live. Okay, guys, tonight, definitely doing the 2K celebration. I'm dropping that video tonight. And, definitely want to thank a lot of you dudes that, you roll strong with Coach. You rolling strong with the Coach. And for some of you guys, you still got time, okay, to go and, support the videos, the 2 interviews of Angela Whitley and JoJo Bars. You guys got time because, I'll be home later on tonight to drop that video. And I'm just checking to see, who I got to call out and who I got to, definitely give my thanks to. Guys, I want to talk about what is a loser. What is a loser? You see, I learned something by giving an interview. I learned a lot giving those interviews. And the first thing I learned was, I didn't talk a lot. Matter of fact, I don't talk at all because I get irritated with interviewers that when they interview people, they have to interject and they got to put their rhetoric into it. And, when I watch an interview, I don't want to hear the interviewer talk. I actually want to learn from what the person got to say. And so I asked my questions, but I had to shut my mouth because I wanted to actually learn from these 2 women who have this experience in a sport that, I started watching, and I asked JoJo Bars, I asked her some questions, man, and I asked her, I asked her about Chris Cyborg because, she went in a Muay Thai fight and she dominated Chris Cyborg. She did. Chris Cyborg was completely out of her element. She had her moments, but you can tell that Chris was definitely trying to bring the MMA component to Muay Thai because she kept slamming JoJo, and JoJo kept getting up and just, landing these vicious kicks to the head. She dropped Cyborg 3 times. But she said, nobody, for 3 years, nobody would fight her. Nobody. And finally, she figured out that Chris Cyborg was doing Muay Thai. And she said, listen, I want to fight Chris Cyborg. Now, let's pause for a minute. Who in their right mind would say, you know what, I want to fight Chris Cyborg? I mean, who in their right mind? Nobody really and truly in their right mind would want to go fight Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg put these girls out in the octagon. She hurting these girls. Like, these girls are getting seriously injured. And this girl said, I want to fight Cyborg. Okay. And she told me, she said, listen, everybody was saying, how good Cyborg was and she was the best. And people were saying that, she could beat me and she would beat me and all this stuff. And that fueled her fire. Like, JoJo kind of was getting a little pissed at when she started bringing up the topic. And some of the stuff she was telling me off camera about the whole site, she was telling me. Like, she was getting upset because, she dominated the sport, man. She's been dominating the sport of Muay Thai for a long time. She's undefeated. She's had 40, she's 40-0. Nobody's been able to beat her in Muay Thai. And, for her, she said, this is my sport. She said it point blank. She said, this is my sport. And she said to have, Chris Cyborg, who Muay Thai, she an MMA fighter. I'm a Muay Thai fighter. She said, this is my sport. And she said, I wasn't having that. And I'm putting it in my own words. She said, I'm not having it. And she said, I had to fight her. She said, I could not. She said she had to fight Cyborg. And she wasn't going to stop until she got that fight. And y'all know what happened. She went in and dominated Cyborg and completely dominated the fight. But see, when I was looking into her eyes and she was telling me that, you can tell, man, that everything she said was genuine. And when I talked to Angela Whitley, I was talking to Angela Whitley and she was just like, she said, I had an opportunity to fight on Lion Fight, and JoJo needed an opponent, and she said, I called, or they called, her team called, and said, you know what, I want to fight JoJo. And see, in the world of Muay Thai and kickboxing, don't nobody want to fight JoJo. I'm just saying they don't, because they don't want to end up on the canvas. Angela Whitley point blank said, she said, I can't be the best if I won't fight people who are good. I can't be the best if I can't fight people who are the best. I can't be the best. She said, there's no way, it's not going to happen for me. She said, I want to be challenged. I want to fight the best. And she is going to fight the best in JoJo Bars. And that fight's going to be a collision course. It's going to be a competitive fight. But, talking to them, and you have to wonder why more people don't really follow them. Because they're passionate, man. They're passionate. They're very passionate. Both of them. They're passionate. But they both said something in common, that you can't be the best if you won't fight people who are good. You can't be the best. That's what they said. You see, we have fighters, and this is not going to be a bashing fighter video, okay? And I'm talking about on all spectrum sides. I'm talking about we got white, we got black. Listen, we got fighters who won't fight each other. And I got to call it like I see it. I have to continue to call this stuff as I see it. You got Adrian Broner and Danny Garcia. They don't want to fight Manny Pacquiao. And I'm sorry, but, you know, these guys, they were offered $4 million, and neither one of these guys took the bait. They ain't want that. I'm sorry, I have to say, I cannot defend these two. I can't do it. They didn't want that work. And I'll keep saying that. Gennady Golovkin didn't want to fight Andre Ward. I have to say that. Because he was going to move up to fight Carl Froch, but he didn't want no parts of Ward. I'm sorry. That's just the way that is. Then you got Billy Joe Saunders, who wanted no parts of Triple G. Billy Joe Saunders said, Triple G will beat me and every 160-pound fight on the same night. I mean, this is what Billy Joe Saunders said. It ain't coach picking on him. I'm just saying that's just the way that is. That's just the way that is. And then you got Pacquiao don't want to fight Crawford. Like you see in boxing, it's like a big controversial soap opera. See, that's what boxing is. It really is a soap opera. That's what it is. And, you know, talking to them and asking them, you know, and even off the camera, you know, I was asking them, you know, who you guys want to fight? JoJo said, listen, I want the best. She said, I'm going to look. I don't know who I want to fight. She said, but I want to fight the best. I don't want a mediocre opponent. Whitley, you know, Angela Whitley said the same thing. I want to fight the best. I don't care who it is next, as long as they good. See, we don't get these kind of responses from boxers. We just don't, y'all. Like, you know, we get, well, you know, they got to fight somebody. Or, well, you know, they don't bring in enough money. You see, here it is. They're in a sport where money, they're not doing it for the money. They can't. It's not enough money in the sport. They do it, man, for their legacy. They're doing it for their legacy. Because I've always said that if you fight for your legacy, the money will follow you. See, they don't have the money to be, you know, divalistic. They don't have that kind of money. So guess what they got to do? They got to prove it. They got to prove it every time they step out into the octagon or into the Muay Thai circle. They got to prove it. See, this is what we need out of boxing, man. We got to have this. We got to, and there are some fighters, don't get me wrong, there are some fighters who not afraid. You got Errol Spence calling everybody out. Lomachenko, Lomo been calling people out. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you got fighters that are not afraid in the sport of boxing. But see, you know what really messed them up, or messed up the fighters who really want the fights? Their promotion teams mess it up, man. People, I've been saying this for a long time. Their promotional teams will mess that up. They'll mess it up. Because they truly, honestly, most of the fighters, except for Billy Joe Saunders, they actually deep down really want to fight. They want to. But then you got some promoter, you know, who, if you lose, you know, he thinking your stock going down. So you got some guy in your ear telling you, look, man, you know, you want to take care of your family for the rest of your life. See, I know how it go. I used to be a fighter. You want to take care of your family for the rest of your life. Look, man, this guy wrong for you right now. I mean, you can't afford it. And the promoters are point blank telling you that you can lose this fight. That's what they're saying. That's what they're telling you. And they'll tell you, dude, I done heard promoters tell fight. I done heard it, guys. I used to fight. I done heard it. Look, man, if you want to take care of your family, man, this dude wrong for you right now. You can't lose your stock. They'll tell a fighter that in a minute. They will tell it in a minute. That's just the way that is. That's how it's always been. But see, now, you know, where you got, you know, the PBC, you got Al Heyman. And I'm hoping, man, that Al will match these guys up the way they're supposed to be matched up. Make every fight competitive. Make them all competitive. Because, see, we, as a fan base, we can stop some of this crap that's going on. Because, you know, when I look at UFC 202, I love the fights, but I'm kind of sad because boxing can't give us the same thing that we want. And we say this all the time. But y'all, we got the power. We got the power. You know why we got power? Because we can choose not to support. And that's just the way that is. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. What are you dudes waiting on? Subscribe.